So, Vita Omnes, good day and welcome to your recorded lesson for today, April 15th. Um, our main focus is going to be on listening to Latin, writing Latin, and responding in Latin to Latin questions. I'm hoping it's going to be a good opportunity for you to immerse yourselves in the language and make use of it as we wrap up chapter 8. First, though, by request, a number of you have requested having phrases of the day. Um, at least on the recorded lessons, I'm going to hope to build that into our sessions. May not be every single day. Today's, though, has some familiar vocab in it. Homo is, of course, new vocab here in chapter 8. Hominy is just a dative case form of that same word. And lupus, well, that's the male version of the lupa, the she wolf that nurtured Romulus and Remus. When the Romans said this, they said it as a proverb, and more often than not, they just left off the est, allowing the listener to understand that it was there. But here we go, the full form of it: Homo homini lupus est. If we reorder that to suit our English speaking brains, try this on for size: Homo est lupus homini. And if you're thinking about the case ending on hominy as dative, you are right. You listened well earlier. And the translation of this phrase, somewhat shockingly or surprisingly, is man is a wolf to man. And the Romans used this as a proverb to express, convey our frequent inhumanity towards each other, that people are not always, well, humane towards other people. And this Roman proverb, maybe as dark and sad as it is, does have truth still in the world today. Moving on from the phrase of the day, I also want to take a moment and do a walkthrough with you of what makes the third conjugation special. A reminder that the third conjugation is going to feature on tomorrow's quiz. Um, so I think it's responsible of me to remind you of how third conjugation verbs stand out. You can kind of quiz yourself, pausing this as we go with each question. How is the infinitive different? The answer, it ends in short ERE, not long vowel RE. How is the present stem different? Crazy man Latin teacher wants you to know that for a third conjugation verb and for the other ones that follow it, um, the one way to find it is by dropping the short ERE from the infinitive. But as a pro tip, you can also find it by dropping the O from the first principal part. That's a departure from what we have done for first and second conjugation verbs, but it's a good departure to use for the third and other conjugations. Finally, other differences. I've already typed the answer into view there. You must remember the bridge vowels that the Romans needed to insert, because on a third conjugation verb, if you drop an O from the first principal part of winco or decerno or petto or dico, what you're going to be left with is a consonant sound. And most of the verb endings are consonants, so there needs to be a vowel to bridge the gap between them. Before you go to the next slide, do you remember the bridge vowels? You're right, they are 4 I's and then a U. Um, you might say that to me next time you see me. Ha ha, 4IU. Ha ha. Oh, sorry, that's not very nice. Don't say that to me. Don't say that to any of your classmates who wear glasses either. All right, well, that was maybe not the most appropriate thing I've ever done in a recorded lesson, but here we go. I want to introduce you to a new third conjugation verb. It's pono ponere. Never mind the other principal parts. Pono ponere. As we see from the short ERE, woohoo, this is a third conjugation verb. So if we're going to find the stem, the two ways that I suggested, either drop off the short ERE from ponere or drop off the O from pono. And the end result, the stem is going to be pone. Okay. To say this verb means put or place, I'm going to use the meaning place because I like it. Think about conjugating it in the active voice. Maybe say them silently. I'll click them into view after I say the English meaning. So I place, pono. You place, ponis. He places, ponet. We place, ponemos. Y'all place, ponetis. They place, ponent. And on the active side in the present tense, there's one other form we need to create, sort of create. It's the infinitive, and it is the second principal part of the verb. So to put or to place would be ponere. On the passive side, we want to remember that the bridge vowels vary just a little bit. It's not 4IU, it's an E and then 3 I's and a U. But for the first person singular, I am placed. We'll go back to using the first principal part. So I am placed, ponor. You are placed, poneris, with the short E. He is placed, ponitur. We are placed, ponimur. Y'all are placed, ponimini. That gets to be a mouthful. They are placed, ponuntur. And then finally, the present passive infinitive to be placed. To be placed is really my favorite of all the forms of pono. You guessed it. To be placed is my little pony. Oh my gosh. Well, you're laughing inside, even if you're not laughing out loud. All right. So you guys can expect to see a third conjugation verb. I'll give you its principal parts on the quiz, and I'll be asking you to conjugate it in the active voice, including the infinitive, which is now hidden, and in the passive voice as well. So expect that to be a feature of tomorrow's quiz. Remember, it's open note, open book, so there's really nothing to fear. We're going to move on to another activity. This is again going to be recorded, and as often, I'm going to encourage you find people to pause the video when you need to. We're going to do an exercise that's called a dictation. It involves listening 3 times, writing at least twice, and responding once. We'll get to the responding part last. But as far as the listening, what you're going to do is listen to a 7-sentence story on a familiar topic. The story is going to be in Latin. I'm going to read it slowly, and I'm going to try to be careful in my pronunciation. You'll listen to it all the way through the first time, and then go back, restart that slide, and listen again, this time writing it down in Latin. Before you do that, I want to advise you to choose your most comfortable method of writing. It can be typing on a computer, but I find that to be slower. It can be writing by hand with pen or pencil. Either way is good. But you choose your most comfortable method of writing. When I'm reading the story through, just pick up your hand when you can no longer keep up with what you're writing, but resume writing at the start of the next sentence. The sentences are numbered 1 through 7, and you'll know when the next sentence starts. I want to caution you not to number down the side of your paper right now because, frankly, some of the sentences are a little bit long and might take up 2 lines. All right, so after you've listened to it the second time, picking up your hand when you can't keep up, but resuming writing at the start of the next sentence. Listen a third time, writing in the missing pieces and correcting as you go forward. Okay. So listen a third time, writing in the missing pieces and correcting as you go forward. Now, you can repeat this step if needed until you have the story as complete as can be and as well written as can be. By the way, macrons are your friends. Try to include them, but don't stress about the macrons. There will be mercy for the macrons here. All right, I want to know if you guys are ready. If you're not, press pause, get your writing materials ready. We are going to begin the dictation. Sententia prima. No, I won't do that in Latin. I'll say sentence one. Xerxes rex persarum cum multis viris armatis ad Graeciam navigat. Sentence 2. Athenienses bellum magno timore expectant. Sentence 3. Sed Themistocles consilium Apollinis in templo Delphico petit. Sentence 4. It's a long one. Euthia verba Apollinis dicit. Athenienses muros ligneos parare debent. Sentence 5. Verba Apollinis a Themistocle intelleguntur. Sentence 6. It's a long one. Themistocles dicit, multae naves ab Atheniensibus parari debent. Sentence 7. Navibus servari passunt Athenienses. Good. Now you can pause the video, go back to the dictation, listen to it again. Now, as a last check, before we go on to the last slide, the next to last slide, I'm going to read the whole story one more time and encourage you to take your eyes away from the computer screen or take your eyes away from this recording and make sure you have it down well. Xerxes rex persarum cum multis viris armatis ad Graeciam navigat. Athenienses bellum magno timore expectant. Sed Themistocles consilium Apollinis in templo Delphico petit. Putia verba Apollinis dicit. Athenienses muros ligneos parare debent. Verba Apollinis a Themistocle intelleguntur. Themistocles dicit. Multae naves ab Atheniensibus parare debent. Navibus servari passunt Athenienses. All right, that was the end of the story. I'm going to run through this next slide a little bit quickly because I know this presentation is going long. When you move over to the task slide, you're going to meet 7 questions about this story. You're going to meet those questions in writing. But I'm going to ask you guys to make notes at the bottom of the story about what each of the question words asks and how it can best be answered. The first question, we'll start with Quiz. Quiz asks the question, who? Second question, we'll start with Quo, and Quo asks the question, to what place? Third question, we'll start with Quo modo, which asks the question, in what way? Question 4 will begin with Quid. Quid asks the question, what? Question 5 will begin with the question word cuyus. Cuyus means whose. Question 6 will begin with qui. Qui asks the question who, but in a plural form. Question 7 will begin quo instrumento, which asks the questions by what means or with what instrument. You probably already know how to think about answering questions that begin like this. Quiz is seeking a singular subject, and you know what case the subject will be in. That's right, the nominative. Quo asks a question about place where, and I trust that you guys recall the place where is answered by a question that involves the preposition ad, ad, or in, plus the accusative case. Quomodo is seeking an answer that is an answer of manner, and manner, you guys know, is in the ablative case with cum optional. Question 4 asks for a subject or a direct object in a sentence. The subject, if it's asking for a subject, it'd be in the nominative case. For a direct object, it would be in the accusative. Quius asks about an owner. That would be expressed, you guys know, by an answer in the genitive case. Qui asks for a plural subject in the nominative. And the last one, I know you guys know what question 7 is asking for. It's asking for an expression that is a tool, a means, or an instrument to do an action, and that would again be in the ablative case, no preposition. All right, I know this is running very long. When you move over to the tasks document, you'll find the full set of 7 questions, not just the question words, but all 7 questions. The questions are about the story that you wrote down. Your task is to take the Latin of the story that you wrote and your notes about the questions and answer those questions in 7 complete Latin sentences. You'll see a reminder of these instructions in the tasks. But the great thing is, everything you're doing today, in writing anyway, is in Latin. You didn't have to write down any English at all. All right, onward. Truly now, I will shut up, and I thank you for watching this so exciting video.